So we have two types of quarterbacks in the NFL, the young, successful quarterbacks. There are two types. Now, there's a lot of types of quarterbacks in terms of height and arm and size and athleticism, but there are two types of young, successful quarterbacks in the NFL. There are the turtles. Okay, the turtles are Tom Brady. They're Aaron Rodgers. They're Jimmy Garoppolo. They're Kurt Warner. They're Steve Young. Maybe they have an early injury. They have to sit behind a star. Their career takes a little while to unfold. Those are the turtles of what Jimmy Garoppolo is certainly in that class. He sat behind Brady. He got injured, went to San Francisco, got dinged up. He's a turtle. Then there's also the other type of young, successful quarterbacks, the hares. These are sensational, early success. Oh, my God, look at them run. Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Carson Wentz, Dan Marino. Dak had some of this. Cam had some of this. The hares, they're sensational either very soon or immediately. They jump through the TV set. They get the right coach early. They get the right scheme early. Two types of quarterbacks. Now, you would think, oh, man, I want to be the hare. I'm not into the slow growth method of quarterbacks, but let me tell you the advantage to it. The advantage to being Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's why I like the Niners in this game, is because slow growth works in the NFL because you do not have the pressure. So with Patrick Mahomes, you have to pay him more early. You often have to pay him sooner. The owner and the GM have unrealistic expectations, which puts unbelievable pressure on a coach. Think about this. If Kyle Shanahan loses with Jimmy G Sunday, it changes no narrative. This is the slow build. You were supposed to lose. This offense is not built around Jimmy Garoppolo. But if Andy Reid, perhaps the best offensive coach in my lifetime outside of Bill Walsh, loses with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, maybe we should wait one more year on Mahomes. We got to pay him now. There's a lot of pressure. Is Andy Reid the right guy? Maybe we don't have the right guy. There are two models that work for young, successful franchise quarterbacks. There is the slow growth model, Jimmy Garoppolo. Little choppy early, don't get into the right place for you, have to be moved. Aaron Rodgers had to sit for a while, didn't have a great first year as a starter. Kurt Warner, Steve Young, Brady had to, sit, and then he was led by the defense and Bill Belichick. And then there's the Comets and the sensation and the hares and Patrick Mahomes. Both can work, but the good thing is the slow growth model doesn't get unrealistic owners going crazy town upstairs. The GM doesn't feel the pressure to get and overpay for pieces for the superstar quarterback now because we got to win because the owner knows how good Mahomes is and we got to win it. If we don't win, we're going to get fired. Just think about this. Sunday, if the Chiefs lose, as ridiculous as this sounds, people will be saying, is Andy Reid the right fit for Patrick Mahomes? The slow growth model, Garoppolo, if he loses, we're in this thing for the long term. Garoppolo's a baby. So Troy Aikman, like me, I'm all in on Garoppolo. I don't think he has the natural talent of Patrick Mahomes, or a Russell Wilson, or a Carson Wentz. But I'm all in on Garoppolo. I'm all in on the slow growth method. I'm all in on the Niners Sunday. And one of the reasons was because Shanahan and Belichick both fell in love with Jimmy G, and Troy Aikman talked about that. Now, it's interesting. Tight ends, when I grew up years ago, 1972, I started watching the NFL. You did not have a lot of great tight ends. The position was not used very much. There was a guy named Benny Cunningham for the Steelers. There was a guy for the Raiders named Dave Casper, number 87. He was very good. But nobody quite knew. Most coaches didn't know what to do with the position of tight end. Your running backs were the shifty guys, and quarterbacks were tall and could throw the ball, and your receivers were fast, and the tight end, he can catch a little bit better than my left tackle, but he's mostly a blocker. And everybody still likes blocking tight ends. But then you started seeing guys like Kellen Winslow, and you're like, oh, this is a real weapon. And then Antonio Gates, and, Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp. There are people that come in and you're like, oh, this is a game changer. Well, Gronk obviously is a big part of that. I think Gronk last year in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship really was the key offensively to New England winning the game. He made the biggest catch against the Chiefs and the 2 biggest against the Rams. The Super Bowl before that, it was Gronk and Zach Ertz. And I think in this Super Bowl, I think we have the 2 best tight ends in football. Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs, a speed guy, a little bit more finesse, unbelievable all-time Hall of Fame level talent. And then there's George Kittle, who's a little bit of a pro wrestler. He is a very good blocker. He's got speed, but he's a power guy. They're 2 different guys. Kittle is you just don't want any part of this guy if you're a defensive back and he's running. You want no part of him. He is tough. He is strong. We're showing highlights here, great hands. And then there's, and this was the play against the Saints that really, he's impossible to bring down. He definitely has some Gronk qualities. And then there's Travis Kelce, who's just a matchup problem. Travis is too fast for linebackers and too tall for corners. There's nothing about Travis Kelce. He's a matchup nightmare. I mean, at least you can double team Tyreek Hill. You can double team a corner. You can shade your coverage over to one side. But they move Kelce all over the field, and he's simply physically too fast for linebackers and too big for corners and safeties. So I was thinking to myself, I freaked everybody out yesterday because of this new technology we have where I can, occasionally look like other people. And I thought the best matchup this Sunday, the biggest personalities in the game are the 2 tight ends, because the tight end doesn't have to be stoic like a quarterback. He can be crazy town. Gronk was crazy town. And so was Kittle, and so was Travis Kelce. And we introduced to you another edition of Trading Faces.
Colin spends most of his time talking about your favorite football stars.
I mean, Baker's gotten 2 coaches fired already.
But today, he's talking as them.
You don't play, you don't know it.
This is Trading Faces.
Imagine if George Kittle of the Niners reached out to Travis Kelce of the Chiefs ahead of Sunday. Yeah! Hello! It's the new heavyweight tight end champion of the world. It's me, George Kittle. Easy, George. Your quarterback threw for 77 yards against Green Bay. Were you even on the field, bro? And I'm sure George would have a quick response for Kelce regarding the 77 yards. Hey, 77 yards passing, sure, but do you see how many rushing yards we had? That's because I'm out here moving mountains, pal. It's called blocking, Kelce. Why don't you ask your brother what that is? Very funny, Kittle Cat. Yeah, you're a riot. Gronk taught me tight ends about the 3 C's. Catches, celebrations, and championships. Now listen, we know Gronk would want in on this conversation. He's always up for a good time. Yo soy fiesta, tight end bros. Great memory, Trav. I think Georgie boy is the only one of you, though, that has ever carried a championship belt. And we know I'm the only one with championship rings. Good luck on Sunday. Gronk spike. Okay, I'm freaking everybody out with those.
It's so crazy.
Is that the greatest technology now known to sports talk radio?
It really is. I love that you said he's a riot. I haven't heard that one in a while.
What's that?
Oh, you're a riot.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that back.
That's my mom. My late mother used that a lot.
You're a riot.
I was a riot.
That was really great.
But think about this. Some of the biggest personalities now in the NFL are tight ends.
Yes.
I mean, Kittle is an incredible talent.
Even more than receivers.
It's funny because receivers, they break the huddle first, and they're a little bit their own business. But a tight end, like Tony Gonzalez says, you're a lineman that catches passes. So you've got this weird blue-collar tough guy mentality. So you're one of the guys, you're a beer drinker, but you're the one lineman that gets the catch and celebrate and spike. So there's a unique personality. I mean, it's funny in the NFL right now. I could say last several years, Gronk, Kittle, and Travis Kelce are the 3 pro wrestlers right now in the National Football League. Big personalities, and I can't wait to watch them play Sunday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.